Call the June 15th, 2026 Polk City Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order. Roll call.
Perkins. Ross.
Here.
Valentine.
Here. Here.
Olfest.
Here.
Can.
Here.
Valente.
All right. Item 3, approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Item 4, approval of special P and Z commission meeting minutes for June 3rd, 2026.
I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Item 5, discussion regarding future land use plan near the Polk City Regional Park. Guess we have no developer report, but city engineer report?
Yeah, so I brought Julie Cruz with me tonight. I met Julie a couple months ago at a people meeting. We've taken the previous discussion, incorporated it into a final land use proposal, and like feedback, comments, or if you're happy with what we've prepared, we can take a motion to recommend approval of the city council. I'll turn it over to Julie.
Good evening. Just run through the report with you. So we did go back and, all the notes we took from our discussion from the last meeting. We looked at some of the street networks that were proposed. Those were added so to help, I think, visualize. Those weren't on the maps when I was here previously. So I think it kind of helps understand the circulation around the regional park in that neighborhood. So anything dashed is a proposed street that's been platted, or it's in your comprehensive plan as a future street. So may not be the final layout, but that's the least the plan alignment and land use around it. So you'll see that this mixed use in area 2, that took your comments into account. What we did do is I did add some to the north though, because it's not on the future land use plan or future streets plan, but if you look at the regional park layout, there is a access point somewhere in between these two streets. So that would kind of align with that. Area 1 over here, we moved some medium density. This was commercial in your existing comprehensive plan, so we changed that to mixed use. And then the biggest change in 3 is these 2 purple pieces, industrial and this commercial area, that matches a rezoning. We didn't have that reflected accurately when we were here last month. I hadn't seen that rezoning map, so this matches that land use now. And then based on our conversation, we did originally have some mixed use over here, and we talked about the topography and just the way that street might flow. So originally your land use plan has that as medium density. So what we did is we just took that off because if the topography is unique and more difficult, it might lend itself more towards a low density layout with some maybe larger lots, street layout, something like that. So we moved some of that medium density over to the, to wrap this commercial area. So those are really the biggest changes that we made. We did keep that. I know part of the conversation was to kind of keep a buffer in between those existing homes that were platted and then before you hit commercial as you leave the park. So we did leave that buffer as well. Really land use change wise, if you compare the acreages, it's really the mixed use that you see the most change in single family. And again, that's because we took this we made this we changed this to single family and made a smaller area, median density over here. And then we moved some of the mixed use around that we had shown previously based on our conversations. So those are the 2 biggest changes in the actual acreages within this area that we calculated. I also, if we want to talk context or just maybe sometimes visualization helps, I threw some quick photos together. Current aerials online aren't up to date because these regional parks, these sports fields are built out in both Grimes and Norwalk, but here's our land use plan in Grimes, and you can see that they have single family right up here. adjacent to their park with commercial as well. There's this kind of split, heavier uses on one side with low density on the other with some mixed use around here. But you can see in these photos, their residential is right up against the back of those fields. Norwalk is a little similar. You have most of your commercial up here, your commercial developments along the highway. That would almost be like your 126th Avenue, by comparison, not built out today, obviously, but in the future it could. And then over here in their land use plan, you can see they have commercial and commercial and mixed use all the way around their parks with some low density as well, right up against it. So really, we're not doing anything that's unique or unheard of, I guess, in the metro area and comparable communities. It seems to be, works well. I was at the Prairie Fields ballparks this weekend, and I noticed in this particular, I don't know if maybe it's just like there's stormwater swell because it was maybe 100 feet to the backyards of these houses from the parking lot. And then this is the entrance into the parking lot, so you can see how close some of these houses are. So, I don't know, just wanted to show those for some visualization purposes. You can see, it's kind of developed like that at this access point, and if this street gets put in eventually as well. So with that, I can answer questions, or we can have more discussion if you'd like. I have the old exhibits if you want from last time, the 3 or 4 options that we brought. So if you want to refer back to those and have some conversations, we can do that as well.
First of all, I think the exhibits we had attached to the packet we had mailed to us were the 4 old exhibits. So, yeah, this is the first we've seen, the 1, 2, 3, 4 exhibit. So haven't really looked at it a lot, but just in glancing at it, can see a lot of the things that we had talked about are identified here. I really appreciate you putting in the street plan, because that really helps visualize how things can work and that it will work for some of the key corridors, particularly the extension of 126th curving up and further to the west. And then on that diagonal piece, having that zoning be the same as the land already zoned to the south, because that will make that kind of hopefully go as one cohesive unit there. I was one of the most vocal ones, I think, about having a buffer between the current land that's single-family residential around the park from those houses that are already built to the north, having a buffer for them since they are already built and they were built with the assumption of our current land use plan. Where you have number 2, I would not be adverse to that coming further south all the way to those platted lots because they are not built out. And so as long as that, is approved before those are built out, then those owners should be able to see that that is mixed use behind them when they buy. And that's really my threshold, I guess, is would an informed buyer recognize what is on the adjacent property? What I don't like to do is change that against existing homes. So like I said, we're wanting to have more commercial, and I personally wouldn't mind if that section 2 went all the way south. And then just something I thought about today, even though that is platted residential there, when that was platted, we had no idea we wanted commercial here. And just a thought is, does the city, when I say we, want to approach the developer there and see if we do commercial just north there, if they might want to reconsider what they want to do in some of that land that is platted but not yet, and it's graded currently, but they don't have any utilities in that I'm aware of further east on that street.
If there are, then it'd be like temporary
Yeah.
storm sewer type stuff.
So I don't know, and that's a city thing, is that worthwhile to consider, changing that if indeed the developer who already has an approved site plan, so if they want to stay the way it is, then, we can't do anything about it. But, the land might increase in value if it was switched to commercial or mixed use.
Especially because that land has sat as long as it has, because that's typically the threshold or the obstacle for changing land uses, is they're worried that it's gonna sit for years and years. But I think that's something that we can discuss with staff on approaching them about that. I
Okay.
think that's a reasonable thought.
And I never look at who owns land, because I don't want that to play any role in how I look at things. And so maybe the area in number 2 is owned by the same, okay, because if the streets stayed in the same location, that wouldn't be much of a commercial strip, or it would be bisected, so the streets might have to even be realigned a little bit to make that work as commercial. But, so anyway, my overall comment is that you've listened to what we asked for, and the note 2 moving south a little further is something that, I'm curious what other folks think about.
That was one of the things I was gonna bring up, is actually, I thought in our meeting, that mixed use, I thought we were starting up in that little corner, but then going all the way to the west, where the next bold line is there.
Over here.
Nope,
Oh, over here.
west, over here.
I had
I thought
to-
that whole rectangular area, we were gonna divide up, and it was like 2/3 gonna be mixed use, and then the east side was gonna be residential.
So I did have 2 notes, and one was to, pull it back from both directions and kind of have it in the middle, like it is shown, maybe bring it further south, but it was just discussed. And then we did have another one that was more of the, like you said, further to the west, and 2/3 be mixed use. Yeah, I don't know that there's a plus or a minus either way. I think by pulling it back though from not going all the way to the west, that's why some was added to the north. So allow a little bit of developable area besides just 1 or 2 pad sites.
And then you said the dotted lines are the proposed roads?
Yes.
So what is that curved road,
Solid line.
the solid line? Because I thought that was,
I think they're maybe the same,
the
but
same
in a
road?
line, because the solid one is on the parcel layer,
Oh, that's,
and the dash is from the street map.
I don't know what that was.
I thought in last meeting you guys had said that was a proposed road.
Yeah,
And now it's still there with the dotted, so that's why I just wanted to know if maybe
Yeah.
just didn't get
The
removed.
other one
or-
is dotted over up to the left there, has solid with dash over the top of it, so maybe it's kind of the same.
Yeah,
Where's the approximate trail alignment? It comes out of the park,
it would basically.
about the middle of that.
This is a trail, right? Over here.
if you go up to where junction is, where the C and junction is, it's almost straight down, isn't it?
So it would come right in, it runs this section line right
Right,
here.
right.
So like straight down from the A and 126th Avenue.
And into the park on that alignment.
Yes, basically straight south. There's a little bit of wiggle as it crosses 126, but it essentially runs the section line.
Do you have any examples of the high-density residential that would go in there?
Specific examples, no, but it would be anything over 8 dwelling units per acre. So that could be, your future land use plan and your categories are pretty flexible in terms of if they can get a density with row homes, townhomes, something like that, that are 8 dwelling units or more per acre, that would qualify. Typically, when we talk high-density residential, we're talking apartments. But the way that your comprehensive plan reads, it's 8 to 24 dwelling units. units per acre.
Okay. I would like to see the high density move, if it's gonna be apartments, just move somewhere else, not near the park, just because of dumpsters, traffic, extended parking, garbage blown over, access to the park from those residents as well. You know, the garage space is a big one, having those activities to go over to the park. That's just my two thoughts, especially since we talk about line of sight and stuff throughout the city. We want to have that kind of aesthetic. I think having a high-rise apartment wouldn't really fit the park area or the trail area. I like the Grimes example with the townhomes.
And that is something, so Julie's memo does mention, sort of overlay district.
Okay.
So that could be an opportunity to basically tighten down what you're looking for in those facilities and in those locations. What I will tell you is that your code is not, as it's written right now, is not gonna really allow anything, well, it's not even that it won't really, it won't allow anything more than 3 stories tall.
Okay.
So I think that's something to be aware of, and then also with the change that we made, would have been the tail end of last year, to the architectural requirements for a resident, for a multifamily structure, you're going to attract probably market level apartments. Think like young professional, young family type apartments, more so than anything else, just because of the requirements that you've placed on apartments. So if that changes the way that you're thinking about it, that's kind of my 2 cents on the way that the code requires it and what your comprehensive plan is.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's kind of why I put that paragraph in there. I didn't wanna go too far into the weeds and like lead you down a path like you should do this, especially if you're not interested in it. But that overlay district is definitely, or PUD, those are definitely ways you can kind of have some regulatory control over how it's built out. And especially you can require the buffer in there between uses and things like screening, things like that.
Perfect.
And if you do a sub-area plan or a zoning overlay district, it does not have to follow any of these boundaries exactly, right? Like it can have its own boundary.
Just curious if anybody else has any thoughts on below number 3 there, the low-density residential, just kind of sandwiched between the medium, the high, the industrial, and the mixed use, if there's a better use for that.
I'm gonna flip to the existing one today, just so we can see. Yeah, see, that's all low density over there in your existing future land use plan, so we're just doing a carve out for to allow that commercial development closer to the park. So it's kind of a remnant.
And that might be the switch of high density and low somehow and spacing it, adding a buffer zone.
Yeah, that, right where you have your cursor, that rectangle, with it, we don't know if that's where the road is going.
Right.
But if the road was to go there, it would almost be nice to have the northwest side of the road either, be the high density to the north or match the medium density to the west. And then the southeast side of the road could actually be an extension of the mixed use all the way over to that road to get a little more frontage.
I like that too.
Yeah. How would the commission feel about kind of hybridizing what Commissioner McCann said and what Commissioner Hankins said, where we determine if it's a medium or it's a high, call it northwest and northeast 7th Street. Southeast, we would extend both of those mixed use blocks to the future roadway. And then would wrap the remainder in low density.
Yeah. Do you just split that parcel in half for now and
Yeah.
kind of meet in the middle?
I like that idea.
Yeah, I like it.
We may shift one way or the other when it actually.
Right.
And for the section 2 currently, would we want to extend that further south or not?
Down to that next roadway.
Yeah.
Probably would be appropriate.
But at that point, I guess my question would be, do we just basically take everything from where Julie's cursor is down to the old line and turn it to mixed?
The
Yes.
bold line, which number 2
This
is
one?
on.
Or this
Further
one?
down.
Or does that get too close to the existing?
Yeah, we have, I think, 3 existing homes there that are built out that I'd like to see protected.
Yeah.
And when I say protected, I mean that could be as little as one street with, by-attached townhomes on the south side of it and mixed use on the north side of it. At least it would be residential behind them. Which is what they currently would have expected. They would have expected low density, and going to like something slightly denser, I wouldn't find objectionable. That doesn't mean they wouldn't, but I wouldn't find objectionable, but I certainly think they have a better expectation than having a piece of commercial property behind them.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the folks on the commission that don't know, I live in a townhome and I have found that they are less noisy than single-family residential in a lot of ways. And so, that can vary depending on the development. But a lot of people don't view them that way. But yeah, to me, it's the whole place gets mowed one day a week and you don't hear any more noise, and there's not many kids that normally live there. And
Ron, that's like my entire job is fighting perception versus reality.
yeah, it's just yeah. My neighbors complain about the single family residential behind us and how noisy they are.
Okay, so with those changes that were discussed, are you okay with it going on to council then?
Or do you want to see it again?
Or do you want to see it?
I'd like to see it again, I guess, just to, not to prolong it, but
Nope.
Okay, before we finish up here, any other thoughts, comments on what we've got shown so far? Anything else you want us to incorporate?
Might be helpful just to show, add a new line, a red dash line or something that is the bike trail, just so we can kind of see where that goes.
Just part of a recent comp plan about anything like that shown, we should be able to pull that. If not, I know we're doing the Polk County design as well, so I know we have to deal with it.
Okay.
All right, all good?
Perfect.
Item 6, reports and particulars. Staff,
Staff.
anything from you guys?
Update on the roundabout project, so we've successfully transitioned to what is called stage 3. You may have seen some adjustments to the traffic control. Again, please use the sign detour. Encourage your friends, neighbors, colleagues to use the sign detour that takes you over 26th Avenue. We do get some complaints from that adjacent neighborhood of pass-through traffic, so just so you're aware, there's been an enforcement effort in terms of ticketing for failure to adhere to traffic control devices, so just be aware of that. Again, the completion date for that is August 10th. And then the other thing that the commission may see or may be aware of is kind of a twofold approach of what we're going to do on Thursday. So Thursday night, Snyder and Associates will be in attendance at the farmers market. We'll be holding a public information meeting for phase 4, phase 5 of the trailhead. So if you, your neighbors, your friends, whomever you interact with in town have questions about that project, we'll be there to answer them. As well as Thursday, we plan to roll out the 2026 Polk City Corridor Studies public engagement questionnaire. So we'll have a QR code there. We'll work with city staff to get it distributed throughout their social media channels. We'll get it posted upstairs. We'll try and get some other places with the QR code. But we'll share that with the commission and council. So highly, highly encourage you to take that survey, to share it with whomever you may interact with, whether they're Polk City residents or not. But if they frequently use West Bridge Road, Third Street, or the town square for any purpose, we want to hear from them so that we can help shape the way that we talk about future land use updates, future corridor improvements, those kinds of things. Those are coming down the pike, but if you'd like to learn more about phase 4 or 5 of the trailhead or want to take that survey, we'll be the farmers market.
All right, commission comments?
If we could get a copy of tonight's exhibit with the 1, 2, 3, 4, an electronic copy sent
Should
to
be in
us.
the Dropbox link. It was updated Friday at around 7 PM.
Oh, okay,
And,
okay,
so
okay.
if you just
Refresh that.
It should be in there.
I
Okay.
did add the photos
I
today.
printed that off today. I didn't get it, but
We can,
I can print it out. I'll make sure to put it in the email.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll get the photos that Julie showed incorporated into that one. Susan sends it out as well.
okay.
I just had a question regarding the senior center. Is that still active or alive? Is that, have you heard lately?
The site plan has expired. That is the current update that we have.
No communication from the developer? Okay, curious.
Yep, so that would have been expired in April. Under city code, they would have had the option to request a 1-year extension by city council if they requested it prior to the deadline and they failed to do so. So now they would be obligated to go through the entire process again in accordance with code.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All right. Adjourned.